Well, welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasting. We are the program that's all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. We're brought to you by B&B Butchers and Restaurant, 1814 Washington Ave in Houston, and in the shops at Clear Fork in Fort Worth. Bacon, bacon, bacon. All right, let's talk about expensive whiskeys that would be appropriate for Ian to gift me for the holidays, or for anybody else that you want to gift.
I get a nice big bottle of Yukon Jack.
Yeah, good. I see you're learning. Balcones Hiqueros, a single malt whiskey. Hiqueros. How do you say it? I want to pronounce it with a like you would pronounce it if it were a Spanish word, but I'm not sure that it is. Hechiceros.
Nothing Spanish about that.
Well, what is it? How do you say it?
Hiqueros is what I'd guess.
Hiqueros? All right. Fair enough. It's a special Texas single malt from Balcones, and it is about $89.99. And it's, Balcones is getting huge accolades all over the place.
Is so delicious.
They are really, they really make a great product. And they this Hiqueros Texas single malt is a refinement of their standard expression. It's finished in port casks, adding extra depth to the sip. So that's first on this list. This list came from Uprocks, by the way. Yellow Spot Irish whiskey, aged 12 years, $99.99. The Spot line of Irish whiskeys from the Mitchell Brothers, they say, is one of the finest Irish whiskeys you can find these days. $100.
Didn't we try that from the New Potato when we did our show over there last time?
I believe we did, and it was delicious. Thank you for remembering that.
Yeah, buddy.
Belmead Single Barrel Bourbon. The Belmead cask strength single barrel is $100. And it is worth every penny, they say, of that $100 price tag. This particular single barrel expression is never going to be bottled again, meaning it's truly unique, and it makes it great for any bourbon aficionado. I was really proud, by the way, of the representation of Texas whiskeys on this list. Garrison Brothers, single barrel Texas straight bourbon whiskey, priced at $119.99. It is a single barrel expression that they say demands your attention. These
Garrison
barrels
Brothers is awesome,
hand
too.
selected by Garrison Brothers, and they are really quite tasty.
They are Texas whiskeys. They are literally some of my absolute favorite whiskeys right now.
Mm-hmm. How about Jack Daniel's Sinatra Select? It is $119. They say it was Jack Daniel's was Sinatra's favorite, and his love of the Tennessee whiskey created an indelible mark on the brand. So they use bespoke Sinatra barrels with extra deep grooves in the staves to create more room for the juice to mingle with the toasted oak. It is, as I said, $120. So. And finally, Michter's 10-year single barrel bourbon, priced at $125. It's been named the best bourbon in America. That should tell you all you need to know. It is single barrel. And, I forgot the Macallan Classic Cut at $130 makes the list as well. So, you know what? There was more on this list than I thought. Whistle Pig Rye Old World Cask Finished Bespoke Blend. Let's see if I left anything else out. Just Jameson's Bow Street 18-year Irish whiskey and Jim Beam Master Distillers at $200. And then finally, Wolves Winter Run. I've never had Wolves Winter, but it's $185, and it is highly recommended. Finally, the editor's pick for a serious splurge. They say Heaven's Door Bootleg Volume 001. It's $500, and it's one of the Bob Dylan whiskeys. But it's a $500 bottle.
$500
of Bob Dylan whiskey. Yeah. So there you go. You want I should read you the $25 and under list here?
Yes, please.
All right. Because you might want to, figure out what you want to angle for me to get you.
Well, the whole list.
That's right. This comes from GearPatrol.com. The best bourbon whiskey you can buy for $25 or less. They say Maker's Mark. At 20 to 30. King of the Affordable Weeders. Wild Turkey 101 at 20 to 25. Old Forester 100 Proof. How are we doing so far? Are we doing all right?
Yeah, we're all good so far.
Old Tub. Are you familiar with Old Tub?
I have no idea what that is.
Old Tub, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It was the name of the bourbon Jim Beam himself sold back before Prohibition. Today, it's a 4-year bottle and bond sour mash, bottled at 100 proof. So it's a Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, Old Tub. Larceny from Heaven Hill. The alternative wheater, they call it. Buffalo Trace, which you knew would be on here, priced at $25. Old Granddad, $114.
Maybe, yeah.
It's $25. They call it a big fat bourbon. They describe it here as the fullest, meatiest, fattiest, cheap bourbon that you can buy.
I don't know that I like it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I guess some people say it's good, but I don't think I like the Old Granddad. It's just not to my palate, I think.
So I'll leave that one out of your list of bourbons then.
Yeah, you can spend that $25 on, Taco Bell tacos.
Evan Williams Single Barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that working?
Say $25 on Taco Bell tacos?
That's 30 tacos. Four Roses Yellow.
And now I want tacos. Can we talk about tacos now?
Yeah, well, Jim Beam Single Barrel. I'm just about done with this list, and that is it. So, Four Roses Yellow makes the list. I was watching a really nice documentary on bourbon actually the other night. Four Roses, very, very well represented.
There's a few on there. I would take a Weller 12 over quite a few on there, actually.
Yep.
But I guess those lists are always subjective.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons I like bringing them on, so you can comment on them and say what you think. Yeah. So one of the things you won't find on lists like that is things like what Doxakis brought us here today, because these are so limited. They're not going to make these these lists. By the time people try them and put them on a list, they're not available anymore. So I got to figure out what's the best way to find these. I mean, you mentioned that they were at some, shall we say, less mainstream of the shops. Is that a good idea for finding these?
Right now, but these just landed in Texas like a week ago.
Okay,
it takes a while for them to get out there,
Okay,
so they can very well see them at Specs in the near future. This one, the woman we're about to try, you can only find at Specs on.
That was nice. That was nice.
Go ahead. I was just sneaking that in there.
You can
only find it at Specs. I'm still
you're
following.
You're like the kid in school is trying to unwrap food and going real slowly. It's like the slower you do it, the louder it is. Just rip it off like a Band-Aid, man.
And then you're done, yes.
So anyway, this one you can find exclusively at Specs on Smith Street, and also at the Tiki Bar, Kanaloa, down there in downtown. We'll get into that in a second.
That's where I shop, is the Specs on Smith Street. So that's so I'll be looking for this. But I haven't tried it yet. I'll be looking for it if I like it as much as I've liked the other three. That's for sure. So.
Which one?
All right.
What is this?
We are enjoying, or we're about to enjoy, the St. Arnold French Press. It's an Imperial coffee porter.
And it smells like coffee.
It smells like coffee, yep.
It smells like coffee and porter. It says rich and roasty right on it. It does smell very roasty coffee.
Mm-hmm. Roasted coffee bean. Almost more the smell of the coffee beans than the coffee itself, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's French press, that's for sure.
The taste has that coffee bitter in such a nice way, and the porter, I think, smooths it out.
It's more carbonated than I expected.
I like this. This would be, if I made a list of top 5 coffee
porters,
coffee beers. They're not always porters, but top 5 coffee beers. This would probably be at the lower end of that list. It's still pretty good. I think when it comes to coffee beer, though, Real Ale just owns that.
Mm-hmm.
Like their coffee porter is so well balanced. This is a different take on it, because this has a lot more of that cold coffee kind of flavor to it, versus the brewed coffee kind of flavor.
Right.
But there's also the Eighth Wonder has their Vietnamese coffee stout, which is also
Rocket Fuel,
very different. Yeah, Rocket Fuel, which is also very different. So you have. These are like 3 really, really far ends of the coffee beer.
Doc, you took a sip of this and then set it aside. Is that not to your taste? Doesn't really do it for you.
I didn't love it. No.
Okay.
And then, but to be fair, I don't like French press coffee though.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
It's just too acidic for me.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the other day I was kind of wondering why so many coffee shops, when you ask for black coffee, they give you the most acidic thing out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, I think medium roast. That's just I'm going off topic here.
You know, and oddly enough, I drink my coffee black. I never put anything in it.
And we go off topic on such a regular basis here that this is not not an issue or a problem. So.
For the sake of y'all and the listeners, I stopped because I think once I get going there, I'm like the juggernaut of complaining, and it ain't going to stop.
Hey, I haven't even covered the Nick Jonas news for this week. So.
Let me go ahead and point out that Starbucks doesn't pay me. I think their coffee's kind of crap in the first place.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not talking about Starbucks. I'm talking about it seems like the more
just a coffee shop,
the more bohemian the coffee shop, the more aesthetic their black roast is going to be.
Yeah.
Like at some point in time, it just becomes paint stripper.
I'm like, you're not impressing anybody.
Well, I am not a coffee aficionado by any means, but I do enjoy this. But this would be a one beer drink for me. In other words, this is not. I wouldn't go for a second one of these.
Yeah, this is not my favorite of the St. Arnold's. I usually love their seasonals. This one, to me, I don't love it. It's okay. I would drink it if someone had it. And
it's not. There. It's not a Christmas ale, that's for sure.
No, their Christmas ale is another thing.
That's a
entirely.
wonderful
Man,
beer.
Is that the green can one?
Yes,
that was nice. Yeah,
that's a
so
wonderful
good.
beer. Yeah,
I want to tell you that since I had the rum kind of out of my palate after that, I went back to our guest of honor.
Oh, you went back guest of honor, the Belgian Pale Ale.
Letting it warm up
with Brettanomyces.
It is fruity and has a weird bitter to it now, and I don't know if
that you didn't detect before.
I don't know if it's the coffee that is doing that, but it's actually in some ways better. I like it a little less carbonation.
Oh yeah, flatter. I think it is better.
Yeah,
interesting, very interesting.
The less carbonation, I think you.
Is that your pour? That's your pour cup. I think that should be very interesting.
Yeah, I think you mixed that one.
No, I made a point not to. I put it out because I did want to go back to this.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
I will tell you the fruity flavors come through. The funk comes through a little better. But there's a weird astringency to it now that
you almost didn't get before because of the carbonation.
Because of the cold and carbonation.
I think I like it better flat, that's unusual for me. I usually prefer the more carbonated version.
You know what, guys? I think you're right. I think I dumped my the rest of my Guatemalan. But listen, I'm going to say something right now here. The Guatemalan XO inside the guest of honor. I think we're onto something here.
We've discovered a few great things here by accident. And
now, two of your favorite flavors come in one drink.
Wow, I like it. So
now I see a Guatemala with the beer.
You got your Belgian ale in my Guatemalan rum. You got your Guatemalan rum in my Belgian ale.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I think it's time to do our final.
Brian says off topic on this show.
Off topic on this show? No way. Well, the Brettanomyces on this, I think you get a better sense of what it's doing. Maybe when it's flat, of where
still
it's headed.
Sizzles on the tongue a little bit in a weird way too. But it's interesting. That's an interesting beer. That's definitely worth buying just for the sheer interesting factor of it.
Just to get off topic again. Whenever I hear the word Brettanomyces, for some reason, in my brain, because songs play in my brain all the time, so in my brain right now is playing "Every Rose Has Its Thorn." I don't know why. I don't know where that came from.
Because of Brett Michael.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
You keep saying this word.
Brettanomyces.
I don't think that's what it means. I think it means.
Yeah. No. All right. What is our final? Pour that in there and see. What is our final one we're trying to? This is the one you mentioned. This was available at Specs.
Yeah. So this was actually a pick by our good friends over at Kanaloa Tiki Bar. They're there on Market Corner. What's that? Is that called Market Corner? Market Square. Market Square. Thank you. And it's a Guyanan rum, and that's the only place where you can get it at a bar.
Yeah, let's put it over on Mr. Twirligig there.
The only place you could get it at retail is going to be Specs on Smith Street, and it's there now. I bought a bottle there the day before Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Nice. You can definitely feel the overproof on this one.
Yeah, I haven't tasted it yet, but you can almost smell it too.
This one's 88 proof, I believe.
Is it really?
I think so.
Wow.
To me, you can definitely feel the overproof. 47 point.
So no, 95. Okay.
So yeah, you can.
I'll tell you what. It almost feels like it packs a little more heat than the 100 proof that we had.
Right. Well, it's funny because different drinks will handle it differently.
This is. I don't know if I've ever used this word with a rum before. This is delicate. It's just got such a delicate combination of flavors. And I'm used to rums being bolder, perhaps, with the, with the sweetness and the vanilla, and and this is just the fruits, and this is lovely.
So there's some of my favorite plantations we've ever made have been from Guyana, and every now and then when back at the chateau. Everybody drink. I got chateau. I might open up just a random drawer in the kitchen. There might be like one of the Guyanans there, and I'm like, no one's looking. I'm gonna drink this. And there's always just something lovely about the Guyanan rum. And there's something about the Guyanan rum, in my opinion, it just seems to soak in that char of the barrel a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I really
very
enjoy
unique
that.
flavor.
Yes.
In a rum.
So, but this particular one has been triple finished in what we call zebra casks. And it's going to have staves, and we call it zebra cask because it's got staves from different kinds of wood. In this case, I believe it's the chestnut cask, and it's going to come to me in a second here. I'm blanking on the word here. It's chestnut cask and acacia. Thank you. Acacia and chestnut cask. And so, but they're different shades, and so to look at them inside the aging warehouse, it looks like a zebra.
Yeah, sure,
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is this a cask that is new built purpose for that, or is this something that's deconstructed and constructed from other casks?
Yes and no. The answer to both of your questions is yes. We and this is like one of those French words that I just trip all over myself trying to say it. And the process, it's called redouage. And when we are aging cognac, and again, like I said 100 times, just everything we do, there's going to be an influence of cognac there. And when we're aging cognac, our cellar masters are going to, our cellar master and our cellar managers, they're going to try these various barrels, and they can tell if there's something that needs to be adjusted. And they'll take the cognac out of that barrel, strip it down, maybe change out 2 or 3 staves, and then build it back together, put the cognac back in.
Wow.
It gets
madness.
That is madness.
It's that meticulous. And the thing is that, it's just a very similar thing here. We're taking some of those cognac casks that now look like zebras, and there you go.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
I mean, the attention to detail is like pretty stunning, Well,
listen, there's some things we're doing here. It's just them sitting back there go, hey, it'd be crazy.
You know what we could try?
You know what we could do? I can't tell you. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. But the next Renegade barrel, I know what it's going to be.
Alert.
And it's going to be cognac, our cognac, of course, that's been aged in the barrels of some of our most popular other products.
That sounds kind of fun.
Yes, it does.
So I have a question. What's
Yes.
your favorite out of our rums today?
I think the second of these 4.
There was the Guatemala.
No, it was before the Guatemala. It was the
We went Jamaican, which was the
Jamaican?
Takai finish.
Guatemala.
The Guatemala, and then after that was the Peru, and then we did Guyana.
then it was the Guatemala.
Guatemala's my favorite.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like them all, by the way, for very different reasons. But the Guatemala, the Peru.
I think the Guyana is my favorite. It's just it's
the most different, I think, of all.
See, not to me, the Guatemala is the most different, and that's all because of the Amburana cask. Amburana is just it's such, I want to say, spicy wood. It's just got so much going on that it really does the most. Does the most to it,
Well, and then by the way, the first one was the Jamaica 2009. That was amazing too. Like, it really is. It's like choosing a favorite grandchild.
I say it's like choosing a favorite finger. I love them all and I use them all.
You certainly don't want to lose one.
Yeah. Wow. So this is, this is one of those things that I wish that I could steer people to exactly where to go to get these, but because we have listeners all over, we may not have.
So as of right now,
yeah.
The Guyana 2008, which was my favorite. You can
that was the one we just tasted.
You get that one at Specs on Smith Street. I saw there was at least one bottle there. It was like earlier this week, but again, they'll reload. You can get the Peru 2010. You can get the Guatemala XO at NASA Liquor for sure. I think you also get it at Flax. You can all 3 of these. You can get it at Ryan's on the north side, the Cypress Wood. Ryan's Liquor. You have Rice Liquor in Bel Air. I believe they brought them in also. And we're just getting started, man. You'll start seeing them pop up.
So we'll see them other places as well, right?
And we have 2 more that I didn't even bring with me today because I don't have a bottle yet. We have a Barbados that's also finished in Amber on a cask. That's just that Amber on a cask. When we walk into the aging warehouses in France, that's the first thing I can smell is the wall where other Amber on a cask because it's just the wood is so pungent. And the Barbados rum really takes on more of that pungency of the Amber on a cask.
Wood, yeah.
But that's going to be exclusive at Bad News Bar, Justin Burroughs' place downtown. You only find that one there on premise.
Bar.
Yep. And we have another one that's sold exclusively at the Austin Shaker in Austin. It's a 1996 Trinidad that's been the triple finish is I'm going to destroy this. Kilchoman Scotch.
Kilchoman?
Kilchoman.
Yeah.
Kilchoman Irish Scotch whiskey barrels.
Nice.
Yeah. No,
that's a very peaty Scotch.
And it's
Saneg that I had a bottle of was so good.
But it's everything they have is very peaty, right? Yeah.
But you get just that subtle hint of that peatiness inside the rum itself. It really complements the Trinidad rum. It's really tasty stuff. That one's going to be exclusive at the Austin Shaker in Austin. We have 2 locations.
I just love how much different stuff you guys are doing. You're not just coming out with the core line and going, okay, here's this year age, here's this year age, here's this year age. You're going, let's mess this thing up. Let's try some things that nobody's tried before. And I think you've produced, well, just in the 4 that we've had here, I think you've produced some amazingly interesting and delicious rums. I love what you guys are doing.
Is this the last segment?
It is.
Can we have one more surprise thing to taste?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. While he's getting that ready.
No, I got it right here.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
We said we'd wait till late in the show.
Happy birthday, dear Doc. Or Docs, or whatever you want to call him. Happy birthday to you.
Ian, I'm afraid now we may not get this final taste that he was.
That was sweet and also awkward. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, well,
I go for awkward. He goes for sweet.
Yeah,
it's a good
mix. It really works.
Speaking of sweet, every year I make homemade baklava, and that's going to be the last thing we taste today.
The man,
awesome.
Look at you!
Yeah. So I come from a Texas Greek family, and my mother. She learned from my yaya how to make
awesome.
baklava. Now, the Texas Greeks, they always use just pecans, but I'm an old world guy. Maybe
You're an
that's
old
why
school guy, yeah.
I've been hanging out with Alexander Gabriel too long. So I don't use just pecans. I use walnuts, pistachios, and to challenge the boundaries of baklava, I add dried cranberry in there as well.
Yeah. So this is the man who just returned. What is your phrase? Just came back again from France.
Every time he comes
the
back.
last time I was in France.
Every time I come back.
Every time.
The same guy that said that is challenging the what of baklava?
The boundaries.
Challenging the boundaries.
The
of
norms.
This is outstanding.
We don't get that with every guest on the show. I'll just
Absolutely
point that out.
Outstanding. It's so good. Yeah, and I think you are now officially the first person to ever bring us baklava on the show.
No question.
We started a new tradition.
And this is absolutely delicious.
Here's what I want you to do. For the next guest, ask them where the baklava is. And when they say, I don't know what you're talking about, show them the door. Tell them, get out of here. Go to Whiskey Neat, you hack.
Are you listening? Are you listening, Chris Hart? You better bring the baklava. Chris is on the show in 2 weeks.
Is he?
You better bring the baklava, or it's going to be a very short show for you, my friend.
That is so good.
It's delicious.
I'm going to have to tell my wife how good it was.
There's like an.
Well,
I know there's a bunch of them.
I just caught that. Is everybody, the first thing everybody goes, I can't wait to share it with my wife. He's like, oh, I ain't getting into this.
Well, what an amazing! I've had such a wonderful time. I'm a big fan of rum to begin with, and you guys, just the way that you craft these expressions, I think is so interesting and so creative. And I just my hat is off to your distillers and your blenders.
Thanks, sir.
They do a fantastic job, and I want to thank you for allowing us to sample all this stuff. This is fantastic.
Well, I want to thank you guys both for having me on.
Thank you so much.
You guys, it's a fun show. I enjoy running my mouth.
We do get off topic.
I usually only get a very small audience, so I'm just getting to more people quicker. You're doing the world solid.
Well, we feel like you do us a solid by
that whole
bringing
off-topic
such great
thing
stuff.
was pretty evident the first time he was on the show.
Yeah,
I was on via Skype and we were looking at some weird bug while I was.
The great bug.
That's right.
My God,
That's right. You were in Florida and you had some amazing bug on your camera.
This thing, I almost ran out of the room, and he was via a computer screen. And he's look like, wasn't that something? And I'm like, get it off.
Well, the second time when we had you back on, it was partially because I was like, I had let Ian experience the stuff that you bring in, so it was almost like a make good. This time it was just because we like you. And so that's a pretty good thing.
Thank you so much.
And that's
My
our
pleasure.
That's our final awkward moment for the show. But again, thank you very much, Plantation Rum. And tell us again the name of the cognac and where people can find it.
It's a cognac Ferron, 10 generations, and
10 generations.
It just landed in Texas. You'll start to see it at Specs and the bigger chains soon. But right now, again, you can get it at Ryan's up on the north side. You can get it at NASA Liquor on South, Flax as well, and I believe also Rice Liquors in Bel Air.
Well, thank you for letting us sample all of this stuff. Thanks to Adam on the Wheels of Steel. We had another wonderful week. We are glad to be back from our break. We will be back next week as Rum Month continues, and then 2 weeks from today, Chris Hart on the program.
Chris Hart, people.
Yeah, very excited about his return to the show. So have a wonderful week, everybody. We appreciate your being here for Smoking and Toasting. And even though my glass is empty, we'll have to remedy that in a moment. I will still offer you
Cheers.
Cheers.
And cheers.
Thanks, Docs.
You always have his...